I found this article rather interesting. I've heard about the Nazi bell, but I didn't know what it was. This is on Project Camelot. And this is remember I told you this is a Swiss Templar cross. It's just shifted. So, and it's a theoretical article. I'm following a trail of information that indicates the real cause of the so-called COVID-19 is that it's a cover for what is known as the Nazi bell, which when operating throws out a radiation field that makes people sick, creating a cytosine reaction like the flu in humans. This is not a disease at all. There is evidence linking to the bell to 5G that creates a worldwide network linked to the bell, and that the bell may be found in Antarctica. Whether there is more than one on Earth is not clear, but perhaps there are. One view says that the Nazi bell was found originally in the tunnels under Gibraltar. You may also know the story of one German bell teleporting and materializing in Keseberg several years ago. See my interview with Clark McClelland for more on this. Bottom line is that the bell can create enough of a field of resonance to go interdimensional. There's a reason to believe this is being used as an experiment to eventually teleport Earth into another dimension, temporarily or permanently. I believe this is part of the reason certain key whistleblowers are being thwarted in whatever they do, because they do not want anyone to focus on this technology and discover the truth of what I'm saying here. I know this sounds wild. Well, not to me, really. As you know, they are trying to create Humanity 3.0, which is not only a super soldier type of human, but one that can withstand radiation, go interdimensional, and teleport. So what they are now doing is going to be a number of experiments with activating the bell and then turning it off in certain areas of the planet, which will result in COVID-like symptoms and some dying. It may be that they will increase in intensity, length of time the bell is turned on, after which they will determine, based on the number of survivors, how close they are to finding the humans that can withstand the radiation. This is part detail in the best novel called The Atlantis Gene. The current state of many humans is their bodies are not set up to withstand this onslaught of radiation. 5G rollout is aiming at eliminating those who can't handle it. COVID-19 is a bioweapon created to mimic the effects of the bell on humans. However, it is simply a cover for what's really going on. Those of us with activated Kundalini, aka Orgone, aka Vril, are able to withstand this, mostly developed in young people. This is the reason to believe the so-called Spanish flu wasn't a flu at all, but a reaction to the unveiling of the bell in Gibraltar. The cover for this was a human reaction in Spain to this experiment. This is somehow linked to the brown dwarf twin to our sun called Immaru, perhaps the return of the Anunnaki from Nibiru. The planet also, it's a dwarf planet. We became aware of this years ago, and that they want to be able to keep the entire Earth dimensional or change dimensions permanently. Something the Earth is doing naturally, but the secret space program wants to do this manually. See, they want to change timelines. Yeah, I have this feeling too that they do. They want to change timelines. See wingmakers.com, Naduro's story for more on this. Update. I feel like the so-called COVID-19 virus is a cover for something much more far-reaching. I had a vision today that we might actually change timelines, the whole world during this lockdown. I believe that there may be some clear signs of this, and I'm going to investigate further. Just wondering if others have any sense of this. If you're reading this and you feel you're aware of a change or jump in timelines, please email me, Carrie at Project Camelot. Okay. This would have been something done manually using the technique I mentioned above, involving the activation of the Nazi bell all over the planet at certain key places. And the so-called tests for COVID aren't really tests for that at all. They are tests for signs of the timeline switch in humans that have gone through this, possibly. This is why the tests are so unreliable. It is possible that there's a marker in the blood that indicates evidence of the switch. If this is true, there are some anomalies. This is like the Mandela, she's like saying it's like the Mandela effect. That's interesting. I find that very, very interesting. So they're not tested at all. That's interesting. They're testing the blood. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. Yep. So this is on Project Camelot. Here's a book. Yep. And this is the Swiss Templar cross, which is the copper-based DNA species that's on the planet. Interesting.